Welcome, this is Jelly Tots, our toddler group here at St John's Church in Ellel. We set it up about 12 months ago and we had just a few families coming along initially, but then we decided to move from doing it fortnightly to doing it weekly. And when we did that, having the consistency, I guess, enabled parents to remember which day of the week that Jelly Tots was on. And suddenly Jelly Tots started to grow, and now we regularly have between 12 and 15 children with their parents or carers, sometimes grandparents bring them along as well. And it's been a fantastic ministry for us here at St John's to make extra contact with people in the community that we wouldn't normally have contact with. And through the ministry of Jelly Tots, we've been able to extend our reach into offering baptisms, and we've done lots more pastoral visits as a result of having the contact with families here on a regular basis on a Wednesday morning. And of course, as the children grow up through Jelly Tots, we have a regular contact with them at school when they graduate up to primary school, and we see them regularly there when I go and do assemblies alongside other visitors from our church as well. So Jelly Tots has been a really good foundation ministry for us here to make contact that we wouldn't have with people otherwise.
So we started Jelly Tots about 2 years ago. In November. We were going to start in September. It seems like a really sensible time to start at the beginning of a new academic year. But myself and the volunteers that we'd gathered had never done anything with under fives, and so we really recognised the need to be ready and to have been trained. So we went to a Care for the Family under fives toddler group conference, and that was at the end of October, and from there we felt ready to kind of set up. We do tea, toast and toys, and then we have a story and singing at the end. We moved here, my family and I, to the church in April 2016, and they didn't have a toddler group. And there were other toddler groups in the village, so we didn't feel a need to replicate anything that was already going on. But then that summer, the news came out that they were going to be shutting the children's centre in the village, and that's where 2 out of the 3 toddler groups in the area were running. So I recognised there was going to be a need in our local area for a toddler group, and why wouldn't we be the ones to fill that need? So I kind of went to see the vicar and asked him, and he said, yeah, that would be great. But I don't have any experience, so went away, did some training. We were going to meet in the old Shore Start Centre, but then the school kind of absorbed that building, and we use it as a classroom. So we looked at doing it in school so that we'd have that kind of ready-made community, but there wasn't really a big enough space for us where we thought we'd be able to meet every week. One second. Am I here? Yeah. What's the saying?
You were able to do it?
Oh yeah, so we were able to do it in school. It just would have been too hard with the spaces that they had available. And when I came to speak to the PCC, one of the PCC members said, well, why don't you just do it in church? And I had some reservations, because as you can see, it's like all stone everywhere. We don't have any soft carpet or anything like that. And I thought it was maybe a little bit kind of off the beaten track, because we're not in the centre of the village, we're down a country lane. But it became apparent that if we wanted to do a toddler group, this was the space that we had. So we started looking at how we would make it work. And we just clear one side of the church and put the toys out, and and it works really well, yeah. So I had mentioned it already to a couple of people, and they were really keen for us to do something with under fives. There's a few of us who had come from another church, and we'd really seen the importance of having something for all ages, and we were growing Sunday school really well, we were growing Messy Church, but actually there wasn't anything for people with children under 5. So I put a notice out and had 2 people say they would be really happy to join the team, so that was great. Hello, do you want to come up here? Want to be in the video? Yeah. So we asked Helen, didn't we, and Muriel, yeah, and they came on the team, which was great. And then one of the other ladies in the church just started coming along to help make tea and coffee. I remember standing at the front of the church and saying, you don't actually need to like children, because one of the things they'd said at the Care for the Family conference was people get put off helping at toddler groups because there's small children and lots of young mums with their boobs out breastfeeding. But yes, I stood at the front of the church and I said, you don't even need to like children, you know, you can help wash up, you can just stand and make tea and coffee, and that's fine. So we got a couple of people that way. And then somebody retired and they wanted to come and get involved. So it's all really been just making it known we're doing this. It's not we're going to do this if we get some help. We're going to do it, and we'd love you to come and help us with that. So yeah, we've now got a team of 5 of us, and then the vicar comes every now and again and helps do a story. So yeah. We let the church know quite regularly what we're getting up to. We inform them, kind of keep them in the loop at things like the APCM and share how it's going, and people are always really surprised by how we've grown. We've got different people praying for us. We've got people who have said, oh, I'd love to be involved but I can't do a Wednesday, so they help us in other ways like that. We have had them donate toys, and yeah, we have one of our older men comes and does Santa for us at Christmas. So yeah, lots of different ways. We have quite regular, like twice a term, sometimes 3 times a term, we have like our mums nights. And we do, like, not everyone there is a mum, we do have childminders and grannies, but it's just, we'll meet in the local pub or in somebody's house, just an opportunity for us to get together without our children and actually talk and get to know each other. So they've been really popular and they've been successful, and successful as well in kind of building relationships between mums, so that it's not just like, we're not the only thing that holds them together, actually they've got friendships outside of that. We've started doing this year like a stay behind lunch, so once each half term people just bring and share, and the idea behind it is they bring and share their like emotions and stuff that's going on at home, but we also bring and share food and share that together. Yeah, so those are the 2 main ways really that we've been doing that. Yeah. It's been in the church with all the under 5s. Just I was really sceptical about having the group in church. I was quite nervous as a mum about, you know, there's stone everywhere and falling over and everything else. But actually having so many children of such a small age, just being themselves, running around, you know, being chaotic, that's what small children are like. But in church, I'm feeling like they're able to do that. It's just wonderful. And then when we have our story time up in kind of like the sanctuary and where the choir sit, it's just something really special about that. Really love it, yeah. I think for me personally, I set the group up because I saw a real need in our area. Yes, rural community, so if you don't have a toddler group then mums are really isolated, and at first that was kind of easy, But now, kind of looking forward, I'm training for ordination, and I know I'm going to be leaving. And so the biggest challenge is looking ahead, making this a lasting group that will run when I'm not here. That's the biggest challenge really at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, so we're kind of doing baby steps. We do our story. When we first started, our story wasn't a Christian story. It was just like any nice children's book. And then last September, so kind of going into our the end of our first year, we decided we were just going to do a Bible story every week, and that's worked really well. So we're kind of trying to do baby steps. So part of the bring and share, the hope is that will grow into us also being able to share about our faith. We're going to be starting like a mum's Bible study discussion group in the new year on a different day, so hoping that some of the mums will feed into that. But really I just would love the families to know that they can do the story too at home, and it's not just something that the church can do for them, that they can do it for themselves. Yeah. There's so many reasons why we couldn't have a group, and we don't have a church hall. The village hall isn't anywhere near the church, and they cost a lot of money to rent it out. We don't have any toys. My daughter was the only under 5 in the congregation, so there wasn't a need in terms of the church family. But one of the things that they said at the Care for the Family conference was the two things that churches that grow have in common is that they have a discipleship course like Alpha running, and they have a toddler group. Those are the only two things that those churches all have in common. And I thought, yeah, that's something that spoke to me actually. It's really important that we have something for under 5s and their families that is more than, come and get your child baptised and then we'll never see you again. Actually somewhere that they can read the Bible and learn more, and yeah, just love it. Do it.